What you see outside of yourself is a reflection of what resides within. This is not philosophy for the sake of thought. It is a way of seeing, a way of living. When the mind is restless, the world feels loud. When the heart is heavy, every conversation feels like a burden. When you are angry inside, even silence from others can feel like a provocation. What we interpret as problems out there are often projections of what we have not faced in here. A person who is at peace within does not get disturbed easily by noise, chaos, or uncertainty. Because they are anchored, like a tree rooted deep into the earth, the winds may blow, but they do not fall. This stillness is not granted by the world, it is cultivated from within. But the opposite is also true. If you carry resentment, the world seems unfair. If you carry fear, everything feels like a threat. If you carry guilt, kindness from others feels suspicious. We walk through the world not as it is, but as we are. Every reaction you have is feedback, not about them, but about you. This is why blame is a trap. It allows you to point outward and say, they made me feel this way, but no one can enter your mind and create emotion without your permission. The way you feel is your responsibility, not theirs. If someone disrespects you and you respond with rage, it's not their action that controls you. It's your lack of inner control that allows them to provoke you. Fixing the outside won't help if your inside remains undisciplined. Even if the world becomes quiet, your mind will still make noise. Even if people become kinder, your heart may still carry suspicion. Start looking at your reactions as teachers. If someone's words hurt you deeply, ask why. What wound inside you did those words touch? If a situation makes you anxious, ask what part of you is clinging to control. These are clues. They show you where your inner structure needs strengthening. The world is not your enemy. It is your reflection. You are constantly seeing your beliefs, your fears, your desires, your expectations, and your judgments mirrored in others. Until you see this, you will keep trying to fix people, change jobs, end relationships, move cities, all in search of peace. But peace is not in those things. It never was. The environment you live in, the people you attract, the challenges you face, they are all shaped by the energy you carry. When the inside is cluttered, the outside becomes chaotic. When the inside is calm, the outside follows. Freedom is not the absence of rules. It is not about doing whatever you want, whenever you want. That is not freedom, that is indulgence. And indulgence often leads to weakness, confusion, and regret. True freedom begins with the ability to control yourself, to say no when the mind says yes, to move when the body says stop, to stay focused when distractions call your name. Discipline is the structure that holds you up when your motivation fails. It is not loud, it is quiet, consistent, almost invisible. It is the decision to wake up early when the bed is warm. It is choosing to practice even when no one is watching. It is keeping a promise to yourself not once but every day. This may seem rigid to the undisciplined, but to the disciplined, it is the foundation of inner peace. A person without discipline is a slave to their impulses. They react without thinking. They chase comfort and avoid discomfort. They wait to feel ready instead of acting with intention. Their emotions control their decisions and their environment dictates their behavior. This is not freedom. This is bondage to every passing urge. On the other hand, discipline brings clarity. When the mind is trained, it becomes still. When the body is trained, it becomes resilient. When your choices align with your values, there is no longer a war inside. You no longer wonder who you are or what to do next. You simply act according to what you have decided is right. But discipline is not given. It is forged day by day, breath by breath. It is built through repetition. It requires effort without recognition, patience without reward. There is no shortcut. You must endure boredom. You must resist the urge to quit. You must learn to sit with discomfort until it no longer controls you. And yet this is exactly where freedom is born. Because once you are no longer ruled by urges, you become powerful. You can choose how to respond rather than react. You can persist when others give up. You can move forward even when the path is unclear because you are not waiting for conditions to be perfect. You are guided by something stronger than circumstance, your own inner order. To outsiders, discipline may appear limiting, but the truth is it removes limitations. It allows you to go deeper, last longer, and rise higher. It creates space in the mind, space in the schedule, space between impulse and action. And within that space, the possibility of mastery appears. Discipline does not chain you. It trains you. It sharpens your focus. It aligns your actions with your purpose. And in that alignment, freedom begins to reveal itself. There is a force in life that does not ask for your permission. It moves with or without your consent. It brings change, challenge, and sometimes chaos. This force is like the wind. It arrives uninvited, shifting direction without warning. You cannot stop it, reason with it, or demand that it moves the way you prefer. The wind is life, and it will not be tamed. Trying to control the uncontrollable is the root of much suffering. People exhaust themselves trying to change other people, force outcomes, or resist what is already happening. But the wind does not care about your plans. It moves as it wishes. The wise do not fight the wind. They study it, they understand it, and then they adjust. The sail is your attitude, your habits, your choices, your responses. You may not get to choose the storm, but you always get to choose how you steer through it. When the wind blows against you, it is not a signal to give up. It is a signal to adapt. Shift the angle of your sail. Rethink your path. Realign your direction. Life rewards the flexible, not the rigid. A disciplined person accepts this truth. They do not waste time complaining about the wind. Instead, they ask, what must I do now? This is the mindset of adjustment. It does not deny difficulty, but it refuses to be defeated by it. Adjusting your sail means taking responsibility for how you move forward. Even when the conditions are not in your favor, there are days when the wind will carry you effortlessly forward, and others when it seems to push you backward no matter what you do. Both are part of the journey. The sailor does not curse the sea every time the weather turns. They remain calm, they read the sky, they watch the waves, and then they do what must be done. The same applies to the mind. When the inner world is anchored, the outer world becomes manageable. But if your emotions are reactive, if your thoughts are undisciplined, then even a light breeze can feel like a storm. Adjusting your sail also means adjusting your inner posture, your expectations, your ego, your need for control. Some people wait for the wind to be perfect before they begin. Others sail anyway. They understand that mastery is not found in perfect conditions, but in how well they move through imperfect ones. The wind will never be fully in your control, but your sail, your direction, your effort, your response always is. Pain enters life without invitation. It comes in many forms: loss, betrayal, failure, loneliness, confusion. It stings. It disrupts. It brings silence where once there was laughter, questions where there were answers. And the instinct is always to avoid it, suppress it, distract from it. But pain that is ignored does not disappear. It waits, it lingers, it deepens in silence until you are ready to listen. Pain is not the enemy, it is the signal, the messenger. It arrives not to punish but to reveal. Something in you is misaligned. Your choices, your expectations, your attachments, your beliefs. Pain brings your attention to what you've been avoiding. It shows you what you still fear, what you have not yet healed, where you are still clinging. But this teaching is only available to those who are willing to sit with it, not run from it, not numb it, not blame others for it, but to face it. The lesson is not found in escape, it is found in stillness. In the willingness to ask, why does this hurt me so deeply? What is this pain trying to show me? Perhaps your pain reveals that you placed your self-worth in the hands of others, that you have lived too long pretending to be someone you are not, that you chase validation instead of truth, that you hold on to things that no longer serve your growth. Pain has a way of making these things clear, harshly, but honestly. Growth rarely comes from comfort. You don't stretch when everything is easy. You stretch when you are broken open, when the old ways no longer work. When something inside you refuses to stay the same, pain marks that threshold. It says, you cannot return to who you were. You must become something more. But many people resist this process. They stay angry, they hold grudges, they replay the story of what went wrong instead of learning from it. In doing so, they miss the teaching. Because pain that is not transformed is transmitted to others, to your own body, to your future choices. If you do not allow your pain to teach you, it will control you. To truly learn from pain, you must become quiet. You must drop your resistance and your story. You must observe what is beneath the surface. The lesson is not always obvious. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it speaks through silence, through fatigue, through restlessness. But it always speaks. Your pain is your teacher because it tells the truth that comfort hides. It demands your attention, your honesty, your humility, not because life is cruel, but because growth is not possible without awareness. Pain brings that awareness like nothing else can. Mastery is not a gift. It is not inherited. It is not granted by luck or given by others. It is earned. And the beginning of this path, the very first step, is the decision to take full responsibility for yourself. Until that moment, mastery remains out of reach. Responsibility is not about guilt. It is not about blaming yourself for everything that has happened. It is about owning your part, recognizing your power, and stepping into the role of the one who shapes their life instead of merely reacting to it. Without this shift, you remain stuck in the mindset of the victim, waiting, blaming, hoping someone else will fix it. The one who seeks mastery must first stop saying, "Oh, they made me angry." No, they revealed your anger. You must stop saying, "This situation ruined me." No, it exposed your weakness. Each experience is not happening to you, it is happening for you. But only if you take responsibility for how you meet it. Responsibility is the beginning of discipline. No one can discipline you from the outside for long. It must come from within. You must wake yourself up. You must do the work when no one is watching. You must stay consistent even when there is no reward in sight. The mature mind does not wait to be pushed. It pulls itself forward. Taking responsibility also means confronting your habits, your patterns, and your excuses. The stories you tell yourself about why you can't, why it's too late, why others have it easier, these are chains you put on yourself. Mastery demands that you break them, and that begins by admitting they are yours to break. Every skill, every strength, every level of clarity begins with ownership. You cannot master your mind if you believe your thoughts are someone else's fault. You cannot master your emotions if you wait for others to behave better. You cannot master your path if you are always looking for permission. Responsibility is freedom because it puts the power back in your hands. As long as you believe others are in control, you are helpless. But the moment you say others mine to face, you become powerful. That shift in thinking creates a shift in behavior, and repeated behavior becomes character. Mastery is not found in perfection, it is found in repetition. It is not the result of talent, but of consistent self-correction. That correction comes only from a mind that accepts responsibility. A mind that studies itself, challenges itself, refines itself. Again and again, not once, but every single day. To walk the path of mastery is to refuse the easy way out. It is to choose the weight of growth over the comfort of avoidance. It is to say, "I will carry what is mine," and then carry it without complaint. In a world of constant movement, stillness is rare. The mind races, the body rushes, the heart reacts. Noise surrounds us. Notifications, opinions, responsibilities, distraction. But beneath all of it, there is something deeper, something that does not move with the noise. That stillness is not emptiness, it is clarity. It is where truth lives quietly, waiting to be seen. Most people fear stillness because it removes the distractions they've grown used to. In stillness, there is no one else to blame, no story to hide behind, no task to keep the mind busy. There is only you, your thoughts, your fears, your habits, your reality. This is why stillness is uncomfortable, because in it, the mirror is clean. You see yourself as you are, not as you pretend to be. But without stillness, there is no insight. You cannot understand the mind if you are always reacting. You cannot understand your emotions if you are always speaking. You cannot understand your path if you never pause to look at where you're walking. Movement without awareness is how people stay lost. Stillness breaks the pattern. It brings awareness back to the front. Truth does not scream. It does not fight for your attention. It waits in the quiet. It becomes visible when the waves of the mind settle. Like a pond, when disturbed, it reflects nothing clearly. But when still, it shows everything. This is not philosophy. This is practice. Sit still long enough, and the mind begins to reveal its patterns. Sit still long enough, and the emotions begin to speak with honesty. Sit still long enough, and you will feel what you've been avoiding. Stillness does not require a mountaintop. It requires attention. A quiet walk without your phone. A few minutes of silence before the day begins. A breath before responding in anger. These are small forms of stillness, but powerful ones. They create space, and in that space, truth enters. Not the truth others give you, but the truth that rises from within. It is easy to live in distraction, to fill every moment, to chase productivity. But if you never pause, you never observe. And if you never observe, you remain unconscious, reacting, blaming, chasing. Stillness is what stops that wheel. It gives you back your awareness. And with awareness comes choice. When the body is still, you notice its tension. When the mind is still, you notice its noise. When the heart is still, you notice what it truly longs for. These insights cannot be forced. They cannot be heard through noise. They arise on their own, but only when the conditions are right. And the condition always begins with stillness. With stillness.